Represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Transport, ABIA State, Dr. Chimeze Isaac Ugebu. His Excellency Professor Chukuma Charles Saluto, CFR, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Anambra State Ministry of Transport, Engineer Michael Obiekwe. The President, Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, and Chairman of Council, CTN Prince Dr. Shegun Ochuko Obayedo Fellow, represented this morning by the National Secretary, Mazi Phillips Okorongo Fellow. The Chairman of this occasion, the Chairman of Conference, who is the Chairman and CEO of Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Uchechukwu Samson Oga, FCA OON. The Honorable Commissioner, the keynote speaker for today, Professor CTN Innocent C. Ogude, Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Nigeria Maritime University, represented at this event by Professor Callistus Ibe, Chairman, Education Committee of the Institute. Let me use you to recognize and welcome all our speakers for this event. The Head of Service, ABIA State, Mr. Benson Ochekere, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport, Mrs. Jane O.N. Awa. The Registrar and Secretary, Ijoma Clara Okere, Fellow. Your counterpart from Ebonyi State, Mr. Uche Okweji. The Acting MD and CEO, Transport Company of Anambra State Trackers, Mrs. Njideka Ogege. The Director, Chisco Institute of Transport and Success, Chief Edozie Godwin, Director, Rivers Joy Transport Company, Mr. Chris Okege, Head, Transport Operations, Anambra State Ministry of Transport. Other delegates from Anambra State Ministry of Transport, Chisco Institute of Transport, UNISIC, Oka, and Ceuta Anambra State Chapter, and indeed all members of Ceuta. We want to welcome us once again to this conference of the Southeast Zonal Transport. Ladies and gentlemen, this is put together by the Chartered Institute of Transport.
Dr. Oga, CEO, Masters Energy, permit me to stand on the already established protocol which our MC has done. My job this morning on behalf of the Chairman of Council, Ceuta, Dr. Obayando, is to welcome us all to this Southeast Transport Conference holding here in Umuahia, ABIA State. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Or good day, rather. We have crossed the 12 noon hour. On behalf of the President of Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, Ceuta, and the National Governing Council of the Institute, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the Southeast Transport Conference here in Umuahia, the God's own state. First, we extend our sincere appreciation to the government and people of ABIA State. Your visible strides in road infrastructure, urban mobility, and the ongoing reforms in the transport sector in the state are very commendable. Hosting this conference in Umuahia is itself a statement of your commitment to building an intermodal, safe, and sustainable transport system for the region. We were all there at the Nenoti bus terminal yesterday evening to see a little of what the state is doing. Thank you very much for that massive example for others to copy. You know, before down in the transport industry, what we tell people, go to Lagos and learn. Today, I wish us all fruitful engagement. Long live Ceuta, long live ABIA State, long live the Southeast, long live and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We are Ceutas.
We are indispensable.
We are Ceutas.
We are indispensable.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, the President, ably represented. We shall be taking the keynote address at this point in time. The President has said Ceuta is indispensable, and we believe him. So we'll be taking the keynote address, and the man to handle the keynote address is the Chairman, Education Committee, and a Fellow of the Institute. I'd like you to please put those hands together as I make welcome to the microphone, Professor Callistus C. Ibe.
People here represented. Fellow Ceutans. We are Ceutans.
We are indispensable.
We are Ceutans.
We are indispensable.
We are indispensable.
We are Ceutans.
Thank you. I'm here to present the keynote address on behalf of Professor I.C. Ogude, former active VC Futo, currently Deputy Vice Chancellor of Nigerian Maritime University, and the first Professor of Transport Management in the whole of West Africa. I am here to present his paper. I think I'm eminently qualified because there is no other person who can present it other than me. His first academic son, he produced me as a professor.
Yes, sir.
So when he told me that he's not coming, he said, "Prof, please go and present the paper on my behalf." And that is what I'm going to do, to present on his behalf. And which is here, and we see a jolly good fellow who is transport, who talk transport, who everything does is transport. So I read his paper. It is my pleasure to honor with the invitation to deliver the keynote address to the Southeast Zonal Conference of Chartered Institute of Transport Administration Nigeria, jointly organized with the ABIA state government. For him, the event is significant. Why? Because it addresses an important topic in the transport industry. Everybody knows the value of transport in our country. It is important for healthy living when we walk or cycle, and that we call active transport. It is a ways or mode of moving, whether it is by air, highways, waterways, railways, or pipeline. That is transport. The economy will collapse or partially do so in the absence of transport. That is why economists say that transport is a social overhead and there is no escape from transport. And I will add that whenever the transport sector sneezes, all other sectors will catch cold depending on the severity of the sneeze of the transport sector.
Wow.
That means without transport, we cannot be anywhere. Urban transportation is critical because our topic is advancing urban transport through sustainable urban development. Why is it critical? The city is the host of commanding height of economic activities. The world is now largely urbanized. Majority of the people live in urban environment with a population of over 8 million. Among the 20 mega cities in the world, Lagos is listed as the 17th, with a population of about 17 million in 2025. Turkey tops the list with a population of about 37 million in 2005. The other mega cities in Africa is Cairo. It ranks 9th in the world with a population of about 28 million. Nigeria is highly urbanizing. The urban population surge stands at the following percentages as recorded. 2010, 51%. 2015, 54.5%, almost 55. 2020, it came down, maybe something happened. Okay, pandemic, 51%. And in 2025, 61%, approximately 62%. Then we come to cars, but car ownership in the country is low, at a rate of 0.6%. This is the capital. Car ownership, the individual employment. One vehicle ownership is 0.05%. In 1985, car ownership was 0.04 per capita. Vehicle registration level per capita stands at 0.7%. That is the average subscription point. Similar to that of Brazil is above. And Indonesia, they are carried their car people. And then you have India and France. Car transport is a dominant mode along with paratransit modes, including the canopy, motorcycle, and non-motorized transport. Namely walking and cycling, which we have given the baptismal name as active transportation, because it helps us to exercise ourselves. All of these transport characteristics call for a good strategy on transit development oriented in the transport ecosystem. And that is telling us that with all this is coming and the problem having, we need to kind of develop transport system that is concentrated, that you now leave it so that as you have this ABIA terminal now, you give the car that will congregate around it. So most people walk rather than putting their car, and most people can park their car and come there. That's what we are doing. The concept of transit-oriented development that is coming up now. So as we enter this in 4th and 5th industrial revolution, the age of knowledge, unprecedented information, technology, and digitalization, the transport industry is challenged to realize its potentials, to lead in driving the economy through auxiliary industries, wealth creation, job creation, poverty reduction, and other forms. Because transport is creates wealth. That is why during the time of depression, we get involved in a massive transport construction in order to deflate the economy by releasing money to those who work in the transport construction industries so that they can buy and deflate the economy. So it creates wealth. And when you open up, like the governor is opening up, now you can see areas that were not accessible before are now becoming accessible. And the value of the properties within that area has appreciated. That's the power of transport. It has a pervasive power that when it moves into a place, development follows. Transport is this more critical role important other than the urban sector. Why? Why is the urban sector critical? So, the idea of smart city as a hub of interconnected defense, hosting intelligent and efficient transport modes is a good one. To conjunction the 21st century, it approaches where the ideal mobility model theorized by Tom Tools in 21st century. Transport, cheap, equally easy in all directions. The idea of seamless and integrated mobility is attractive, even as it is aspirational. The topic before us today has three components, namely sustainable urban transportation, sustainable urban mobility, and green energy transport solution. This could be interrogated using the framework of innovative multimodal solution in transportation and their impacts on sustainable development. Sustainable development is a good thing to have in this age of knowledge, digitalization, and customer satisfaction. The United Nations Commission in 1987 defines sustainable development as meeting the needs of the present without compromising ability of future generations to meet their goal. That is, we consume today, we give for our children. That is sustainability, and that's sustainable development. So applying that to the urban transport sector, sustainable development means adopting practices and technologies that do the least harm to the environment, promote social responsibility, and ensure economic viability. In general, sustainability has three pillars, namely environmental sustainability, social sustainability, and economic sustainability. Let's take the environmental sustainability first. It entails reduction in air pollution, greenhouse gas emission, implementing energy efficient technology that prevent excessive energy consumption in the transport sector, mitigating noise, and implementing other environmental measures to reduce undesirable impact of transport, such as pedestrian surveillance, visual intrusion, and so forth. This visual intrusion tells me something I used to see. Have you been passing on the road and these ugly vehicles are passing with the phone and whatever it is happening? If you want to catch a beautiful girl across the road, you miss the person. That is visual intrusion. That's the harmful effect of transport. So we are talking about something that can make you see what is across without being visually intruded. And transport has the ability to do that. When you have ugly vehicles that pass the road, prevent you from getting across and seeing what is there. So that is the next slide, please. Examples of the above include sustainable fuel, that is alternative fuels like compressed natural gas, that can reduce emission by as much as 80%. Electric and hybrid electric propulsion, being new technology that can greatly reduce emission and noise. That's why we are talking of sustainable economy. Minimize the noise, minimize the pollution, and you get what you want. So we have another arm of sustainability is the issue of social sustainability. What does that mean? It is best providing accessible, affordable, safe, and inclusive transportation for all groups, including the poor, elderly, women, and persons with disability. Input a transformative force driving a new paradigm in urban mobility. The idea resonates with Tom Holmes' notion of paradigm shift in scientific development. An idea that is attractive to me as well over the years. I have thought, I I have found attractive the study of the history of transport thoughts and its underlying philosophy and theory. Transport has emerged as a distinct field of serious academic study. I thought the case of the application of sustainable urban mobility in Nigeria will be considered in the course of this conference, taking into consideration Lagos, Abuja, Umuahia, Aba, as the case may be. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the story about smart city and transport, advancing urban transport mobility.
Thank you so much, Prof. Please allow us to give him another round of applause. We shall be taking...
It's a good message presented by Engineer Michael Obiekwe, Permanent Secretary, Anambra State Ministry of Transport, on behalf of the Executive Governor of Anambra State, His Excellency Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo, CFR, and the Commissioner for Transport, Honorable Edward Obiefuna Ibuzo, on the occasion of the Southeast Zonal Transport Conference at the International Conference Center, ABIA State. Good day, distinguished guests, transportation and industry leaders, and fellow stakeholders in Nigeria's energy future. I bring you greetings from the good people of Anambra State, light of the nation. It's my distinct honor to address you at this crucial gathering on the theme Advancing Urban Transport through Sustainable Urban Mobility and Green Energy Solution. The transition to green and renewable energy in the land transport is no longer a distant vision, but an urgent economic, social, and environmental necessity. The Southeast region has the potential to lead the country and the entire African energy infrastructure, especially in the road and rail transport sector. The zone, as presently constituted, has been acknowledged globally for its unique and enormous youthful talents and abundant natural resources. All the world is waiting is for us to unleash targeted investments in climate finance and green technology through inclusive and sustained public-private collaborations that will result in a resilient, low-carbon now and future. The Anambra State low-carbon future is anchored in its clean, green, and sustainable Anambra agenda, aligning with Nigeria's goal of net zero emission by 2060. The state is driving this through specific legal infrastructure and renewable energy initiatives. We have the Anambra State Environmental Protection and Administrative Law 2024, which enforces environmental sustainability and mandates annual audits to monitor and control all forms of industrial emissions. We also have entered into strategic partnership with international bodies such as the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, and the European Union towards strengthening local capacity for a subnational carbon market. The state is currently dualizing our major roads to encourage mass transit with energy-friendly vehicles and achieve free movement of vehicles, which will reduce emissions on a per vehicle basis. The Anambra Rail Master Plan, which is ready for deployment for the development of a functional rail transport network in the state, did not only solve road congestion problems, but also advanced greenhouse gas emission benefits, thereby reducing CO2 emissions that will have been emitted from a number of commercial buses and personal vehicles. I therefore wish you all a successful conference as you network ideas and highlight various opportunities.
Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo, CFR, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport, Engineer Michael Obiepe. The Chairman of Conference, Dr. Uchechukwu Samson Oga, FCA, OON, all dignitaries here present, good afternoon. I have just one assignment, and that's to read the goodwill message from the DGCA, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, at this annual conference of Chartered Institute of Transport Administration, CIOTA. So whenever you see I mean she's the ones speaking. Protocols, I've observed that. It is my honor to deliver this goodwill message on behalf of the Director General of Civil Aviation, Captain Chris Najomo, who regrets his inability to be here personally. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority is pleased to associate with the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration at this annual conference. CIOTA has consistently played a key role in advancing professionalism, capacity building, and building development across Nigerian Transport Administration. These commendable efforts align closely with the mandate of NCAA to ensure safe, secure, and efficient air transport. The theme of this year's conference, Advancing Urban Transport Through Mobility and Green Energy Solutions, is both timely and relevant. As aviation becomes increasingly integrated with other modes of transportation, collaboration among regulators, professionals, administrators, and operators is essential to drive innovation, safety, service excellence, and green energy solution. The shift towards sustainable aviation fuel and ICAO's carbon offsetting and reduction scheme for international aviation is pointer that the sector is also looking to green energy solution. This NCAA values its partnership with CIOTA and commends your commitment to raising industry standards and developing the human capital that powers the sector. I encourage all participants to engage actively and use this platform to forge partnership that will strengthen Nigeria's transport and logistics ecosystem. On behalf of the DGCAA and the entire management of NCAA, I congratulate the Institute on the successful hosting of the conference and wish you successful deliberation and impactful outcomes. Thank you and God bless you.
Energy group of companies. Distinguished participants, may I stand on the already established protocols. Good afternoon. I am Ikunze Georgina, and I am here respectfully to represent the Honorable Commissioner for Tertiary Education, Professor Uche Eme Uche. Her goodwill message. It is with great joy and sense of honor that I bring warm greetings from the management and staff of the Ministry of Tertiary Education, ABIA State, to this important Southeast Zonal Conference of the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria. Let me sincerely commend the leadership of the Institute for choosing a theme that resonates strongly with the realities of our time. Across the world, cities are embracing sustainable mobility systems and green energy solutions as effective responses to urban congestion, environmental degradation, climate change, and the growing demand for efficient transportation networks. In Abia State, the case is not different. as the government of Dr. Alex Chioma Oti has fully embraced green energy solution in urban transport. Advancing urban transport through sustainable urban mobility and green energy solution is particularly significant because transportation remains a critical driver of economic growth, social inclusion, and sustainable development. The future of our cities depends on our collective ability to develop transport systems that are efficient, environmentally friendly, affordable, and accessible to all citizens. Visionary leadership of Governor Alex Oti. Remarkable strides have been recorded in advancing urban transportation and green energy initiatives. Some notable achievements include, but not limited to, introduction of the ABIA Green Shuttle Scheme with the deployment of electric buses to provide affordable, safe, and environmentally sustainable public transportation services across the state. Launch and expansion of electric bus services with an initial fleet of 20 electric buses and plans for additional buses to further enhance sustainable mobility and reduce carbon emissions. Installation of solar-powered charging infrastructure of electric vehicles, demonstrating the government's commitment to renewable energy adoption and clean transportation systems. Building of modern transport terminals at city center of Umuahia, aimed at integrating different modes of transportation and improving passenger experience. Construction and rehabilitation of over 400 roads to significantly improve urban connectivity, reducing travel time, and enhancing economic activities across the state. Installation of modern street lighting and transport support infrastructure, contributing to safer roads, improved nighttime mobility, and the realization of a 24-hour economy as enshrined in the Governor's Manifesto. Construction of bus shelters and passenger-friendly facilities in major urban cities of Aba, Umuahia, thereby improving convenience and accessibility for commuters. These achievements clearly demonstrate that ABIA is aligning with global best practices in sustainable transportation and green energy transition. As stakeholders in the transport sector, you must continue to improve and promote innovation, research, capacity building, and strategic partnerships that will strengthen urban mobility systems and support economic transformation in our dear state, Southeast, and Nigeria at large. I therefore enjoin participants at this conference to utilize the opportunity to exchange ideas, share experiences, and develop practical solutions that will shape the future of transportation in Nigeria. May I, on behalf of the Ministry of Tertiary Education, Abia State, congratulate the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria for thoughtfully hosting this conference in Abia State. I wish you all fruitful deliberations and unforgettable experiences. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
By my humble self, Barrister Awajen Olamma Ngozi, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Transport, Abia State. And I read, I am honored to extend goodwill to all participants gathered for this Southeast Zonal Transport Conference. This event presents a valuable opportunity to exchange ideas, share experiences, and chart a progressive course for the transport sector, which remains one of the most vital pillars of socio-economic development. I wish to specifically acknowledge the civil servants within the Abia State Public Service who are proud members of this esteemed institute. Their commitment to professional development and best practices in the transport administration contributes immensely to building an efficient and responsive public service. Transportation is more than moving people and goods from one location to another. It is about connecting opportunities, promoting economic activities, and enhancing the quality of lives of citizens. Recognizing this reality, the administration of His Excellency Governor Alex Chioma Oti, OFR, has prioritized reforms and investments aimed at transforming the transport landscape in Abia State. In line with his commitment to making life more bearable for citizenry, the governor procured electric vehicles and buses under the Abia State Green Shuttle Initiative, which are presently serving commuters across the 3 senatorial districts in the state and the state capital. This bold step reflects the administration's embrace of innovation, environmental sustainability, and people-centered governance. However, the governor is not resting on these achievements. In response to increasing demand and in pursuit of improved service delivery, arrangements are in top gear to bring additional 80 electric buses, having received 20 already, into full operation for the benefit of the people of Abia State. Further underscoring this commitment is the newly commissioned Nenna OT bus terminal, a central component of the multimodal transport hub recently delivered by His Excellency Governor Alex Chioma Oti, OFR, conceived as a comprehensive transportation hub that goes beyond road transportation. The facility has been designed to redefine our infrastructure to meet modern realities and create a safer, more organized space for commuters. In addition, provision has been made for the construction of a connecting rail line scheduled to commence in the coming months as part of deliberate efforts to integrate the various modes of transport and give the Abia transport value chain a more standardized and efficient outlook. As professionals and stakeholders in the transport administration, your contributions are indispensable in shaping a transport system that is efficient, safe, accessible, and sustainable. I encourage you to utilize this conference as a platform to generate practical solutions that will advance the transport sector across the Southeast and Nigeria as a whole. I congratulate the organizers for this laudable initiative and wish all participants fruitful deliberations and a highly successful conference. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and may God bless Abia State.
Thank you, and amen to the prayer.
Some futures. First, I'm now the CEO of Masters Energy. I'm just the president and founder. Masters Energy has a group managing director and a CEO. So I'm just the founder and no, I'm not the chairman. Masters Energy has no chairman. I'm the founder and president of Masters Energy Group. I'm not a CEO. And the next is that Dr. Uche Samson, PhD, FCAON, and CON. So thank you for that minor corrections. His Excellency, our dear Governor, my dear brother, Dr. Alex Choma Oti, OFR, the Executive Governor of ABIA State, the performing governor of our time, ably represented by our brother, Dr. Chimeze Okebu, the Honorable Commissioner for Transport. The Executive Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukuma Soludo, OFR, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary. The keynote speaker, Professor Ogude, who impressed me this afternoon because it's giving so much myth to the subject matter of today's gathering, ably delivered professionally, perfectly, and sustainably by Professor Ibe. I want to thank you so much for that delivery. Our host, Prince Dr. Shego Ochukobayando, the President and Chairman of the Council, and Mrs. Dr. Clara Okere, the Coordinator of Seattle Southeast Zone. All the permanent secretaries here are represented, the head of service, and all dignitaries, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, ladies of the press, members of the press. Thank you so much. It is a profound honor which I accept with immense gratitude to be called upon to be the chair of this event by the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, CIOTA, in partnership with the ABIA State Government, to chair the Southeast Zonal Transport Conference 2026. That I am also an ABIA stakeholder. Joining a conversation of this magnitude makes this moment deeply significant for me. Well, I'm not a stranger to infrastructure, but by the grace of God, I've built factories, logistic chains, and industrial corridors across the country. I have watched sometimes with frustration, sometimes with hope. And our cities strained under weight of growth without a system to bear it. So when I read the theme, Advancing Under Transport Through Sustainable Urban Mobility and Green Energy Solution, I did not read it as a bureaucratic formulation. I read it as a challenge that touches the core of every Nigerian who has sat in a go slow, what you call go slow, for 3 hours, who has breathed, exhausted, vacant air and our expressway, and who has dared to imagine a different future of the Southeast. The future is what we are here to discuss. The context we cannot ignore. Let us be honest with one another. Urban transport in Southeast, be it in Aba, Umuahia, Owerri, Onitsha, Enugu, Abakaliki, or Oka, is underdeveloped. Our roads carry volumes they were never designed for. Okada and Keke serve as a de facto public transport system, heroic in their nature, but catastrophic in safety records. But air quality deteriorates. Our economy loses billions in productivity to congestion every single year. And as the world shifts aggressively towards clean energy and smart mobility, we risk being left behind, not for lack of ideas, not for lack of talent, but for lack of organized and coordinated and well-financed action. That is the gap this conference must begin to discuss and close with. What sustainable urban mobility actually means. Sustainable urban mobility is not a slogan, it is a system. It means that a market woman in Ariada can reach her store without spending a quarter of her income on transport fares. It means that a student in Umuahia can board a clean, safe, scheduled bus and arrive on time. It means that freight from Aba Industrial Cluster can move predictably, efficiently, and without destroying our road infrastructure. It means public transport system, anchored electricity and clean energy technology, generating local jobs in maintenance, operations, and manufacturing. Our region has the raw materials for transformation. We have the entrepreneurial density. We also have the intellectual capitals, and our universities and polytechnics are producing world-class engineers and planners. What we need is deliberate policies or policy architecture that will execute the private sector investment to scale the solution with speed. The transportation sector accounts for a significant share of global carbon emission. Nigeria is not exempted from the reckoning. The world's largest economies transitioning their vehicle fleets, building electricity vehicles, changing infrastructure, and retooling their public transit system around renewable energy cannot afford to be dumping ground for obsolete. What we mean is that we cannot be using our country, our region, to be dumping cars that have been abandoned overseas, because everyone in the whole world is moving towards electricity car, or what they call EV cars. We must leave this conference with clear, actionable recommendations on how to create that environment through policy reforms, land allocation, fiscal incentives, and public-private partnerships. The Southeast opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, the Southeast is the critical point. The Enugu Port Harcourt Express rehabilitation, the ongoing upgrades across Abia State under the great changing leadership of the Governor Alex Oti, transformation, and the diaspora investment flowing back into our communities are seeds of transformation. But infrastructure without a transport system is just a concrete without a blueprint. This initiative of Governor-elect Oti, indeed, Governor-elect Oti's administration has positioned Abia State as a pioneer Nigerian eco-friendly transit sector by launching the Abia Ground Shuttle Service, a fully electric vehicle, public transport network linking major urban hubs like Aba, Umuahia, or commission ultra-modern 340-seater Nenoti Umuahia bus terminal in the state capital, described as a reflection of his administration drive for world-class infrastructure, economic development, and improved transportation to other regions and within the Southeast region. You know, one thing is that when you see a good thing, you must appreciate it.
because you have the heart of doing something that is good. And anybody that watched or seen my manifesto when I was contesting will see what I designed for Osisioma. It was a world class, never seen anywhere. So it is something that we are talking about the future, because the future is here. We can't run away from it. The future is here. We must move with that pace so that we can meet up with others. The private sector, irreplicable roles. As an industrialist, I understand that government builds the conditions. The private sector builds the solution. Transit systems, electric bus fleets, multi-modal transport hubs, and logistics parks. We need banks and development finance institutions to design patent capital instruments for infrastructure, because transport projects have long gestation period that standard commercial lending cannot absorb. In Masters Energy Group, we have seen firsthand how logistic inefficiency affected industrial competitiveness, which, you know, we are in an obscure area. So is a key thing. One thing that I recognized, or let me say that one thing I want to appreciate the federal government of Nigeria is the dualization of the Okigwe-Afikpo road. The dualization of that road is that that road takes you all the way to Cameroon. And what it means is that every investment that is coming within that corridor automatically touches beyond the region. And it's an infrastructure that has gotten to Amasri on a concrete system that will last for years beyond some of us existing here. So, fixing urban mobility is thus the most commercially rational investment the private sector can make in this region. When I was putting down this write-up, I dropped by in London and went to Euston Station and then looked at the way that the rail system was built. The government took in for so that they can recover the cost of the rail line. And I know that this will happen one day. I was just sharing with somebody, I said, while I was coming, I said, we are talking about Southeast Development Commission. I said, well, for me, I wish Mark is here for me to talk to him, because I felt disappointed, because with the money they have, there could have been a proof of concept. The proof of concept that will go well for one, transportation system, the rail system, and then the gas infrastructure for Southeast. Just leave the two. Do a proof of concept, and then you'll see what is going to happen. You don't even need to take government. You bring private sector to invest with a proof of concept. So there's a lot that can be done. Well, I believe God is helping us, and I thank God for the governors we have in Southeast. And to be honest with you, what is happening in Anambra is awesome. Enugu is awesome. In ABIA, phenomenal. In Ebonyi, the same thing. So you can see this. There's Southeast is beginning to get it right over the period, and when there is sustainability, and the key word there is sustainability. If you remove sustainability from this, everything is nonsense. It's sustainability. So once there is sustainability of the governance, the system, everything falls into place, and everybody will see that what is we are traveling to go and see can be replicated as it was in heaven. Let it be here on earth. That's what we are praying for. This conference is rich with expertise such as our engineers, planners, transport economists, environmental scientists, and policy architects. Your role is not just to debate and document. Your role is to produce framework that can be implemented, costed, and defended in the offices of finance ministers and before the board of investment committees. A mandate for the conference, as we gather here, not just to talk, but to convert their dialogue into directions. May I ask this conference to produce three things. One, a Southeast Urban Mobility Charter, a declaration of shared principle and target that our regional government can adopt and track against. Two, a green transport investment roadmap identifying priority projects, estimated cost, financing models, and implementation timelines across our cities. Three, a policy recommendation report submitted formally to the National Assembly, the Federal Ministry of Transport, and to the State House of Assemblies with specific legislative and regulatory demands. Conferences without deliverables are expensive conservations. This one should be different. In closing, Abia State has always been a crucible of enterprise and innovation. From the traders of Aba to the innovators building the next generation of this nation, our people have never lacked the will to move forward. Let this conference honor the spirit of giving our transport system the energy, the creativity, and the ambition that defines the Southeast character. On behalf of Ceuta, the Abia State government, I warmly welcome all our distinguished participants, those who have traveled from across the Southeast, from Abuja, from Lagos, and from everywhere part of the world. Your presence here adds great value. The future of our cities is not a government project alone. It is a collective project. Let us work together. I wish you happy deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Chairman of Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, please applaud him one more time. We'll be taking another assignment.
Land. So on that note, I want to call the chief host for this great program, His Excellency, the Governor of Abia State, ably represented by the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Transportation, Abia State, Dr. Chimeze Isaac Okebo, the Fellow of the Institute. While I invite the President of the Institute, ably represented by Mazi Philip, to come and do the presentation. Thank you.
His Excellency, ably represented by the Commissioner of Transport, as it is in our character to appreciate, when we meet in conferences this way, to appreciate both our hosts and special invitees. This is from Ceuta, a souvenir proudly presented by the Charter Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria to His Excellency Dr. Chioma Alex Oti, OFR, Governor of Abia State, in appreciation of your participation as chief host at the Southeast Zonal Transport Conference that held in Abia State on 17th to 19th of June 2026 by order of Council, Prince Dr. Shego Obayendo Ochuko, Fellow of the Institute, President and Chairman of Council.
Thank you. Sita, we sincerely appreciate this. And then, thank God you said it's for participation, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
We want to call on the Governor of Anambra State, Dr. Chukwuma Soludo, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport, Anambra State. Please, sir.
As we are aware, in the Southeast, what Deaconess is coordinating is the 5 states put together. And also, if you check in our program, you will see the various governors heavily represented in that program. So this is something there, proudly presented by the Institute of Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, to His Excellency Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo, CFR, Governor of Anambra State, in appreciation of his participation, which we see someone standing in for him here as the special guest of honor at the Southeast Zonal Transport Conference today in Umuahia, signed by the Chairman of Council.
Thank you, sir.
We're good?
Yes, sir.
Humbly call the chairman of this conference for your sacrifice for being here this afternoon. We appreciate you, the founder and the president of Master Energy. Thank you, sir.
Coincidentally, the founder of the founder, our chairman today, our way has crossed, I think about 5 years, where a group of young people under the Full Gospel in Abuja brought him, and he was telling us how he moved into getting that group of company, locating it in ABIA. They're doing well, and you continue to do well, sir. So, Siota presents this to Dr. Chechukwu Samson Oga, FCAONCON, Chairman, Founder, yes, President, Masters Energy Group of Companies, for being our Chairman at this Southeast Zonal Transport Conference here in Abia State today. And the Chairman of Council, Dr. Shegu Ochukobayando, Fellow of the Institute, has signed this.
Keynote speaker, Professor Innocent Ogude, ably represented by our own Professor Callistus Ibe.
All right, like he said, Professor Innocent C. Ogude was his teacher, as it were, and today he's also teaching others. In the hall here, we have a lot of people that have passed through as doctors, and he has also graduated professors who were under him. My path crossed with a prof here in 2009 at the National Council of Transport in Calabar. We went to visit, what's this, their program there? The program that they did there that has failed now? Tinapa. We were in Tinapa. And then, the prof was not a prof yet, but every transport gathering, he makes sure he takes himself there, whether sponsored or not. And he was encouraging us that transportation is the place to be. Prof, we are here. So on behalf of Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria, to Professor Innocent Ogude, who is our keynote speaker today, in appreciation of your participation, sir, this is what to remember that you were part of this Southeast Zonal Transport Conference 2026.
Transportation, Abia State. You have been a father. You have been so committed to see that the program comes out beautiful. So please, the Honorable Commissioner for Transport, Dr. Chimezie Okebo, we humbly invite you, sir, in your own capacity. Thank you, sir.
I will tell people, I said, even though he's a very quiet person when you see him, but the things that has come from ABIA, he has made it. He has given us chest to speak in Abuja. You know, I took us to the terminal. They are steps ahead of whatever trouble will come. They are telling us the investment, the innovation, the research they are doing to make sure that terminal will be sustainable. You know, Chairman said, anything you do with that sustainability, now play will now come play. Honorable Commissioner, sir, the Chairman of Council, you know, you are an insider, already a fellow of the Institute, and we are excited. You came on board and pursued professionalism, you know, getting into the professional circle, and CIOTA is excited. This conference today is a proof of how much you have worked on the ground, physically and on the ground, to make sure transport professionals have this type of meeting. After this opening ceremony, the main meeting continues, where we go to technical issues, papers, and tell you what is new in the sector and all of that, courtesy of the Commissioner accepting that he will pull this through. Has it not been pulled through? Boom. That's among our zonal coordinators, she's the only one that is a woman. And she don't carry last. She don't carry last. Let me tell you another thing, that when she was the PS, she called me and said, Philip, I want to see the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Transportation. And we mean about all this your inland ports. He asked me, and she the federal budget, you know. So, and we have now gotten ABIA, who is also running those programs we were dreaming of. So, on behalf of the Chairman of Council, thank you for being an.
We are CIOTANs. We are indispensable.
Because we are CIOTANs.
I want to deeply appreciate the Chartered Institute of Transport for giving ABIA this second opportunity. In June 2023, 20th of June 2023, the Chartered Institute of Transport was also in ABIA to hold their zonal conference. And after 3 years, if we check the trajectory, by June 2023, Governor Alex Chioma Oti is already the governor of Abia State. And this year, 2026, when he's also celebrating his third year in the office, the zonal conference is here again. By his full support, let us give ABIA and our governor a round of applause for them. His Excellency, the President and Chairman of Council, Chartered Institute of Transport Administration, Prince Segun Obayendo, ably represented by Mazi Philip Kolombo, our own Chairman of this conference, the President and Founder of Masters Energy Group of Companies, Dr. Uchechukwu Samson Oga. The keynote speaker for this conference, Professor Innocent C. Ugude, ably represented by our own Professor Callistus Ibe. To everyone and for the success of today's opening ceremony. To His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Abia State, ably represented by the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Transportation, Dr. Chimezie Ikegbu. We are grateful for the enabling environment, the financial support, and goodwill message. Your support for transport development, sir, in the state is highly commendable, particularly the newly commissioned Nenauti bus terminal, the Obakundoki seaport that is at the environmental assessment stage, good road network across the state. To the National President and members of the National Executive Council of CIOTA, thank you for entrusting Abia State with the honor of hosting this zonal conference. Your presence here today validates the importance of this gathering. To our royal fathers, distinguished guests, the union chairman, and all the transporters in the house, the corporate organizations, Michael Obara University, the Abia State University, thank you all for finding out time to be here for this great occasion. Our profound appreciation goes to our keynote speaker, Professor Innocent Ogude, ably represented by Professor Callistus Ibe, for that insightful address on our theme, advancing urban transport through sustainable urban mobility and green energy. You have set the tone for the technical sessions ahead, which will be coordinated by Professor Ejen A. Ejen. To our sponsors, to our partners, the ND Planet Project, Marshall Nigeria Limited, Mary Aviation Communication Electronics Nigeria, Nigerian Railway Company, National Inland Waterways, Federal Road Safety Corps, Nigerian Public Company NBL, the Temple XYZ. Thank you for investing in the advancement of transport professionalism. This conference would not be possible without you all. So our delegates from across the zone, distinguished fellows, members and student on the planning committee, the local organizing committee, the registrar, Mr. Rashid, and the ABIA chapter, the Honorable Commissioner, Dr. Chimezie Ikegbu, Fellow of the Institute, Associate Professor CTN Obioma Nwobe, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport, Awajen, Engineer John Wobu, the State Chairman from Imo, Dr. Mokedi, from Anambra, Mr. Chris, from Ebonyi, Mr. Uche, and from Enugu State. Your sacrifice, commitment, and attention to details made this opening ceremony seamless. Well done. Finally, to the management and staff of Ochendo International Conference Center, our media partners, security personnel and vendors, thank you for your professionalism. As we proceed into the technical sessions and networking, I urge us all to activate, engage on the theme, advancing urban transport through sustainable urban mobility and green energy solution, among other topics that will be demand our best ideas. Once again, thank you all, and I wish you all fruitful deliberation as we continue in this program. Thank you. We are CIOTAns. We are indispensable. Thank you so much.
Please give Madam CIOTA another round of applause. Distinguished ladies and Isaac Ubebu Fellow. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
And there are different types. You have battery electricity, you have plug-in hybrid, you have electric buses. We are having it now, so we are not talking stories. You have it rather, you go there and you see it. I say, how different I see it is. Yesterday, when I went to the bus, I asked them, am I in Nigeria? See, you can charge your phone. The man was communicating to us. The AC there is very cool, and the driver dressed and such a way that see the aura around him, that is comfort. Travel with comfort, and he is enjoying it. And you call the pilot, not driver. If you call it that, tap and pay. You tap, you pay, you walk it. Easy. Yeah? So that is it. And what is the global trend in this electric vehicles? There is a global trend that the growth of e-vehicle in e-vehicle.
Told us the advantages of green transport transition. Can we know the disadvantages?
Thank you very much.
Ask. People are losing their jobs. In Abuja before, we used to queue. People are working in filling station. Today, you don't see one queue. Because everybody, almost people, the transporters have moved to CNG and electric vehicles. Now, those attendants, no more jobs. Jobs, people are losing their jobs. So, in the southeast, in ABIA state, what, is there anything, I don't know if you are able to answer the question, the state or southeast is doing to make sure that the people, the transporters that are using petrol, these EV buses now, they are losing their, those people are not, it made them now lose their jobs. What are they going to do? How will they be integrated? It's called just transition. Allow us workers to transit justly. Thank you very much.
Can green energy transaction, transition transform the future of road and railway transport in Nigeria, including the need for disability persons and elderly people.
Prof, good afternoon, sir. Prof, you've talked so much about the topic of the day, but I was expecting you to tell us something about the insecurity in Nigeria, because I know that the former administration of President Buhari built some of these rail lines in the north through Chibika Amechi, the then minister, and we have been told that some of these Boko Haram members or bandits, that they will stop them along the road and waylay them. That's number one. Number two, with what is happening today, if we want to tell ourselves the truth, and if we want to develop the transport system in Nigeria, I don't think that somebody who doesn't know anything about transportation in Nigeria should be made a minister or a commissioner for transportation in a state. So what can we do, Ciota, as a body now, to make it compulsory that the government can listen to us and now give us that opportunity to always pick somebody from this sector. Thank you.
Rail transport for the vulnerable groups. And we are saying smart. It incorporate them. Inclusive transportation. It will incorporate them. So there is future for them. And that's why when you have some of these vehicles will come with low clearance to take care of them. So when we are talking smart transportation now and the benefit, inclusive transportation is part of it. It's a holistic policy that will take care of them. And the question you asked is good. I just graduated somebody in transport. It's a big area of research. My son just got a big in transport and his thesis on in transport security. So we are in this area. You see, transport, because of its nature, it is the transportation of, it brings good and bad. You can use transport to destroy the system, you can use it to develop a system. But what you are saying that you have to incorporate technology to be able to track these people. You remember when the real something happened, and mentioned what said, I told them to put what? Technology, and they refused. Did you not hear Amechi say that? Amechi said, I want them, let us incorporate technology for security along the track. And that they said the money is much. I remember I told us here, you have to be a leader to take the risk to get what you want. Mm-hmm. If you had put in those sensors, you would have dictated those people, and that would have been affected. The whole amount of money we wasted would have been. So that's what you call the sale pound village penny was pound village. That's what we did there, and it cost us much money. And because those bandits, or what we call them, knew that we don't have anything to get them. Jobs created in ICT industry. It's a developing area, and it will give us more jobs. We are not going to lose jobs. We are going to get more jobs. Remember, I talked innovation. It will bring up business opportunities, and there will be innovation that come up. And then someone talk of how do we secure ourselves? Another thing we do that there must be policy. Remember, I said policy on safety and how to handle these things. Each of these things has guidelines on what to do and what to don't do. Once you do it, and above all, for you to get this and get efficiency, you need to professionalize. You need to get the knowledge. You need to get everything you need to do it. Once you get a professional person to be there and handle it, you have efficiency, and all these things you are talking will be out of the way. To start something is a difficult thing. Remember, we talk of transiting. It's a gradual process. When we get there, we will see what others have tasted. Go to Rwanda, you will not talk this. If you go to Rwanda, Kigali, you see the benefit of what is already implemented in Africa, and they are happy. They are very happy. Remember that people maintain that they are different people. You need to change your skill. Look, move with time and trend. If you are a labor, you don't follow trend and change your skill, you'll be crowded out. You update your skill, upscale your skill according to the new trend, and you fit in, and that will make you an indispensable fellow. But if you don't update your skill, you will be dispensed with, and people who have better skill will take the job. Thank you, and rest my case.
Let's not allow you to sit. Just stand. Let's do a photograph. Yes, sir. We need
presenters. The Honorable Commissioner for Transportation Abia State will be presenting his paper. Is there on the program. Professor Ejem will also be presenting his own. And the SSA to Governor on Transportation, Dr. Associate Professor Obioma Mobo will also present his paper tomorrow. So don't miss it. Tomorrow is fully packed. But we apologize for not starting quite early today. So we want to plead that we will be here early tomorrow so that we also leave early.
The Senior Special Advisor to the Governor of Abia State on Transport, Assistant Prof. Obioma Wobe, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport, Abia State, Barrister Jane Olama Awa, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Tertiary Education, the Commissioner, Ministry of Tertiary Education, ably represented by the Director. The guest speaker, Professor Innocent Ogude, ably represented by our amiable Prof. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. This is a welcome address by His Excellency Dr. Alex Chioma Oti, OFR, at the Southeast Zonal Transport Conference holding here in Umuahia, with the theme Advancing Urban Transport Through Sustainable Urban Mobility and Green Energy Solutions. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all to ABIA State and to this important Southeast Zonal Transport Conference. I'm particularly delighted that Umuahia, the capital of, also aligns with the urgent need to rethink how our cities move people and goods in a manner that is efficient, safe, environmentally responsible, and economically beneficial. Transportation remains a major driver of economic growth and social development. It connects communities, supports businesses, creates employment opportunities, and enhances access to essential services. However, as our cities continue to expand, we must confront the challenges of congestion, road safety, emissions, inefficient transport systems, and the increasing demand for modern mobility solutions. The government of ABIA State recognizes that sustainable transportation is central to our vision of building a modern, prosperous, and livable state. This is why we have embarked on deliberate reforms aimed at transforming the transport sector into an innovation within the transport industry. The future of transportation cannot be achieved by government alone. It requires administrators, private sector operators, technology providers, researchers, and the traveling public. You know, when we introduced the green shuttle buses, the intention of government is not to take away businesses from private sectors. Rather, what we are doing is to de-risk, create room, a conducive platform for private operators to come in and invest in that. So that was why the government set the pace around green energy solutions is particularly important at this time. Globally, nations are moving towards cleaner energy and sustainable transport systems. ABIA State is committed to being part of this transition by exploring opportunities that reduce environmental impact while improving efficiency and affordability. As we promote electric vehicles, and we must also pay attention to supporting infrastructure, financing models, and policies that will make sustainable mobility practical for our people. Question there was, or the plea, was to the World Bank to be able to fund private investors to provide transport infrastructure within the corridors. Why? It's like, now it's a bit difficult for them to recharge. So I made that plea to them so that private investors will be able to be setting up the charging stations along the transport corridors, so that as you travel around, you will be able to charge to make sure your journey is seamless. The conference provides an opportunity for experts and stakeholders to share knowledge, exchange ideas, and develop strategies that will shape the future of transportation in the Southeast and Nigeria as a whole. I encourage all participants to engage actively and bring forward innovative solutions that will address our unique transport challenges. It's not just having a conference or doing the talk. We must be able to have, at the end or during or the end of this conference, be able to bring solutions to challenges confronting transport sector. Conference and for its continued role in advancing professionalism and best practices in transport administration. Your contributions are critical to building a transport system that meets the needs of present and future generations. Once again, I welcome you all to ABIA State. I wish you fruitful deliberations and a successful conference. It is my honor and privilege to declare this Southeast Zonal Transport Conference open.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of this very first segment of the program today. After now,
before I invite the state chairman for the final vote of thanks for today, I would want every one of us that are the full delegates for this program to make sure that your email address is given to the admin, to the secretary, so that you will have all the papers. I'm happy that we are watching it through the projector so that we'll be able to send it to you on your email. Is that taken?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so very much. So on that note, I want to invite the ABIA State Chapter Chairman, Engineer John Ogu, to come and give us his last proposal.
Today, like we have heard that Clara is no more Clara. What has taken her name is Mama Siota. So also,
she will launch it to the national.
Yeah, thank you. So also on our behalf. So we have to thank all that have made it today, especially those who are able to sit for these last presentations. Like in Igbo, as you know, I have Bala, Amarande Berezuaya. So we can see that those who are sitting back now are the real transport professionals. God be blessed in Jesus' name. So we
thank you very much. Don't forget that we will be having the lunch. Today, I want to welcome you to day 2 of the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria. This program put together by this particular institute in collaboration with ABIA State Government is bringing together every member of CIOTA from the Southeast Zonal Transport Sector. This is their conference holding in ABIA for the year 2026. I want to believe that we all enjoyed our program yesterday and that we had a good rest last night. Of course, after a good job, after a job well done, after, should I say, a strenuous session yesterday, I want to believe that we will sleep very well. And I'm sure everyone who came in from all the nooks and crannies of Nigeria are enjoying ABIA State. It's a beautiful home of the theme of the The theme of this year's conference is Advancing Urban Transport through Sustainable Urban Mobility and Green Energy Solution. And we are continuing with today's business. Of course, we started with the plenary yesterday. We will continue today. But before we get into the plenary sessions, we're going to take the opening formalities. So we're going to take the national anthem first stanza, to be followed by the ABIA anthem. After that, all of us will recite the third stanza of the national anthem as our opening prayer. And thereafter, we shall bring up the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Transport, ABIA State, to deliver his paper. Having said that, I'd like everyone to please rise to your feet. Transport Abia State, Dr. Chimezie Isaac Ukebo, Fellow. I'd like us to put our hands together for him, please. Governor, who is the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport, Anambra State, Engineer. I'd like us to make welcome our speaker. Join me in welcome another fellow, Professor Kalista Sibe. Give him a round of applause. I'd like us to also make welcome the National Secretary of this great institution, another fellow, Marcy Phillips Okoronkwo. Round of applause. Now join me in welcome the woman who made us very comfortable, who fed us yesterday, though we refused to be fed up. Join me in welcome Mama Siota, the coordinator of Siota in the Southeast. Dignus, Ijola Clara Opera. Please give a round of applause. Being a part of this program, a number of us, Financial Secretary. Okay, they want to. Financial Secretary, Mrs. Uki. Please give her a round of applause. Yesterday's meal, right? Yes, everybody.
Excellency, the Governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Chioma Oti OFR, ably represented by myself, the Honorable Commissioner for Transport Abia State, Dr. Chimezie Isaac Ukaibu. Your Excellency, the Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, ably represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport, Anambra, Engineer Michael Obiekwe. The President of Siota, Mr. Shegun Obayendo, and ably represented by my own brother, Mazi Philip Okoronkwo. Our guest speaker, Professor Innocent Obude, ably represented by Prof. Ibe. The National Treasury, Ceuta, Mrs. Felicia Uki, who is here present herself. The Senior Special Advisor to the Governor on Transport, Abia State, Assistant Prof. Obioma. The Coordinator Southeast Zone of Ceuta, Dickness Ijoma Clara Okere, who is popularly known as Mama Ceuta. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please, if you are not specially recognized, forgive me, then be rest assured that God recognizes you most. Ladies and gentlemen, is it possible on developing integrated transport hubs for economic growth, lessons for Southeast Nigeria, and this is presented by my humble self, Dr. Chimezia Izukukebu. Once again, distinguished guests, respected colleagues, industry professionals, policymakers, and members of the transport community, I'm highly honored to present this paper on developing integrated transport hubs for economic growth. And this is a lesson for the Southeast Nigeria. I'm not a prof. Do not expect me to present like Prof did yesterday. Neither am I an assistant prof to present the way my SSA would after me. I'm just but a doctor. Please, if you are rating, don't rate me as a prof, because those are already our organs in paper presentation. But all the same, I'm going to do a little justice on this topic because it's very key and very vital to our economic growth within Southeast in particular and globally in general. Now, we keep talking about advancing, that's our team, advancing urban transport through sustainable urban mobility and green energy solution. Transport. What is transportation? Transportation remains one of the strongest drivers of economic development. Urban expansion. Please, let's get this. Outside economic development, we are talking about urban expansion. So it's one of the key. So if Southeast and the representatives of our various governments, please, we need to bear this in mind. That if you want urban expansion, you must work on your transport sector. That's a clear fact. Trade facilitation. A product is not produced yet except it has got to its target market. And the only means of doing this is through transportation and social integration. I remember when we had a courtesy call to the governor, I mentioned something. I said, Transportation is not just only moving goods and services or human beings from one point to another. Transportation is far more than that now. Transportation is about networking. Transportation is about social integration. Transportation is about economy. And that's it. Transportation is about urban expansion. In the Southeast, except we realize this, our urban areas may not be expanded. Our revenue will continue, being things we'll keep having worries and concern over. The government of ABIA State, when we came in, the road infrastructure, in fact, in the transport sector, it was zero, totally zero. The only thing you can talk about transport in ABIA State then was the keke people, who are actually my colleagues. I wish they are here. They are my colleagues. They play a very vital role in revenue generation, to be fair to them. But transportation does not just end there. So His Excellency now thought about this. What he did was, first of all, to go into road infrastructure. Because if you have a beautiful road, you're only building roads for our vehicles. Or you put non-motorized and motorized transport to run on them. It's only transportation that can go into hinterlands. It's only transportation that can facilitate trade, bring in products produced. I remember that I also cited when we had the Kosi visit to His Excellency, when I said, those days we were studying marketing. We were told about the principles of marketing, which entails the 4 Ps. You have the product coming first, the price coming second, the promotion coming third, and the place. The place has got to do with the transport, the movement of people from one place to another, movement of goods and services from one place to another. So, very key. It came last because it harnesses the efforts of the others for you to have an achievement. That big casing is manufactured by Rolls-Royce in UK. So I now asked, and came from this particular person, he's from Aba. So we are known for that, the Southeast, and there is need for us to utilize that which we are known for, being entrepreneurial. So that's why I said Southeast Nigeria, with its strong commercial and entrepreneurial culture, developing efficient transport hubs is no longer optional. It is a strategic necessity. Please, I want us to really be doing the lines. I said developing, not transport. I said efficient. And when you talk about, as we speak now, no, because time is money. I have to be using UK as my reference point a bit to certain things. Reason being that it's an economy I understood very well. So, with Nigeria. You see, the issue of time is money. Why? Before, when I was growing up, that time is money. kept coming up. But I didn't understand it. For me, time is money. How? And that's why in Nigeria, time is money makes no meaning. Honestly, it makes no meaning. That's why we can fix meeting by 10 o'clock. You see somebody coming by 12. Of course, nothing happens. For him, nothing has. But at the long run, we are losing money. Consciously or unconsciously. So if we have to set up different modes of transportation in different areas, you find out connectivity becomes a problem. You waste money. You waste time, of course, money. You waste time to connect to one. And in the process, you are wasting your time and also you are losing money. Now, what time is money? When I came to understand the meaning of time is money is in the UK. And that's why you see people walk like Jackie. Because every hour you miss, you have missed money. You find out you put up a program or you put up an occasion and people will gather. Everybody will be looking at his or her watch. Because I need to go to work. Because if you lose 1 hour, it will be deducted. And 1 hour means a lot. Imagine where, let's assume, 15 pounds per hour, 20 pounds per hour. You are losing 20 pounds because you are somewhere wasting time. You wouldn't want to do that. What will you do? You have to hurry up. So that's exactly what happens there. When they are not connected, when they are not integrated, we tend to lose money. And that's why we said that integrated transport hub, you have the taxi, ride sharing services, logistics and cargo movement, and parking facilities. In ABIA State, we just commissioned Nenoti bus terminal. Please, if you have not been there, I beg you need to visit there. Honestly. So it's a clear example of an integrated transport hub. Now, here you have the passengers waiting lounges, you have commercial. These are things that make up every transport hub integrated. All these things. And I said such hubs improve mobility while creating economic opportunities. Right? Now, and I asked myself a question, why Southeast Nigeria? Why do they need integrated transport hub? Why not just a transport park, as we call it, just a main park? Why do we in the Southeast need an integrated transport hub? Even in my explanation, I have mentioned some of them, but let's go detail. Now, I said the Southeast region comprising states such as Abia State, Anambra State, Enugu State, Imo State, and Ebonyi State is one of the most economically active regions. You know how people are not lazy? Initially it's a taboo to see even us begging. Right? No matter how poor you are, you will still struggle to do something. That's why sometimes certain regions, when they see a woman hawking groundnut of just 2,000, they will start wondering, only 2,000? Before her, it is a lot. That she gets 100 naira gain. It's something. That's the nature of our people. The Southeasterners, we are not used to carrying this and saying Babiala. Good. However, okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, I say, however, Transport challenges remain. It's like you skipped something. We are the most economically active regions. I will explain that. But yet, our challenges remain traffic congestion in urban centers, poorly organized motor parks, inadequate passenger facilities, safety and security concerns, limited technology adoption, weak coordination among transport operators. Now, and I said, having an integrated transport hub solves these problems. Let me use Nenoti as a case study here, just for here. Nenoti terminal. You know, because we moved all the parks to a centralized place, Nenoti bus terminal. You know what it did? It reduced congestion by over 80%. Because everybody that wants to travel will just have to move straight to. Again, you don't have pockets of parks littered everywhere. In fact, what I did was to set up a task force to monitor compliance. So, when you have integrated transport hub, what it does will be to reduce or eradicate totally traffic congestion. Poorly organized motor parks, you won't see all those parks everywhere. And you know what funny thing? Once you have a park, it creates also markets. You are aware? Go and check. We've noticed this. And that's why you see clumsy nature of people causing congestion. Then inadequate passenger facilities. What we now did, if you go to Nenoti, in the first place, everywhere is chilled. There is 100% air conditioning. So while waiting to board, you will be enjoying air conditioning. In fact, we built driver's lounge where the drivers will be until it's their turn to load. In their lounge, we also install air conditioning to make sure that they are very comfortable. We provided a conducive business environment. And if you have such, why would they be happy with you? Because you've added to the quality of their lives. Is not what they used to know. There is no touting. For us not to also deprive people of their work, to say, you know, because if you stop touting, this stop passenger thing, you are taking away jobs from people. What we did was, okay, for each operator, bring 4 people. 2 ticketing officers. 1 will be in the booking. Another one will be loading and offloading. So we now created room for what they call touts. This time they are no longer touts. We've given another nomenclature to make it. That's it. So you see, this one of the solutions to the challenges this may cause. Now, when you talk about safety and security concern, if you come there, the control room is best too. We have the control room that monitors everything that happens there. Even if your pin drops on the floor, we'll detect it. So, and it's a real-time monitoring. So what happens? If anything happens, the data can be sent to the security to help them to do their work. That's it. Technology. Payment. In our green buses, is smart. Is tap and pay. So we provided a card called ABIA Connect card. All you need to do is to fund your card. If you want to enter, you tap, it deducts the fare, and you go your journey. So cashless environment. Now, let's look at the economic benefits of integrated transport hub. Operators, like you have the GUOs, the GIGs, and co. We categorize them as formal operators. We provided ticketing booths for each of them. Now we have the informal operators are all these with pockets of parks all over. We now group them. Provided an office to the manager that will be in charge of that. And then for the 4 unions, we have 4 unions, transport unions in the states, RETAN, NATO, National Union, and then cooperative. We provided offices to them in the terminal so that it will help them to coordinate the activities of their union members. So we now ask them, like I said, provide people that will work for you. That's one point. Then we handed over for sustainability side because it's also key. It's not issue of building an integrated transport hub. Another thing is to sustain it because honestly it's capital intensive. So there is need also for maintenance. So that at any time you leave, another person will carry on. So what we did was to hand over to a facility management company for them to manage it. So for the facility management company to manage it, what they recruited staff. And what we told them, see, apart from the key top staff, the other staff must come from the states. And of course, in Abia State, as long as you live in Abia, you are an Abia citizen. We don't segregate where you come from, as long as you live in Abia. And that's why the head of service of Abia State is from Edo State. You can imagine that, because he came here for youth service. And after that, of course, he decided to stay. And today, he is the head of service. So they provided employment. So, and if we understand the consequences of unemployment, we find that it's better
to meet performance expectations. Just like I've mentioned, there are new threats in technology that is upcoming. And so, when a new threat comes, you must be able to get requisite technology to handle that. So data collected through these systems can be used to make continuous improvement. I've said that. Next slide, please. So let's look at some of this technology. We have had so much that Abia State is doing. But let's go on a global scale to see what needs to be done. The first is what we've been hearing, the intelligent transport system. Number one of such technology is the real-time tracking and fleet management. I think most of us are very conversant with some. Because most times when you go to a city, you don't really understand the route. Some of us use our GPS. Is that not true? Yeah, so to a certain time, the GPS will even take you to where there is no route. So you can see the limitation of it. So GPS technology enables real-time tracking of vehicles, allowing for efficient fleet management and route optimization. So you can divert, possibly when there's a congestion in a particular route. Instead of spending time there, you can move to alternative routes because you have a real-time information. Then there is automatic vehicle location. This technology uses GPS data to monitor vehicle location, just like the ABIA e-buses. And that is how you'll be able to predict the arrival time, departure time, and all that. If you don't have a system. That is where the payment system is streamlined, reduce fare evasion, and then provide value operating a contactless payment system. And then it makes some deduction from your card. In the UK, you're coming down to Abia State, and possibly you have not accessed your card. Can't we think of another alternative? You can book for your, journey. So there's need for us to think of mobile ticketing where we use the QR codes and mobile app to make some payments. That's most of us enjoy that in airline businesses. Next slide, please. Understand the kind of drinks students take most in the campus. And most times you might not be able to understand that. So what we can do is to move around the environment in our faculty and pick all the drinks, the empty cans, pull them together and all that. By the time we pull them, what we have achieved, we have just gotten a big data. And then a big data is useless until you start doing something with it. So you start doing some sorting according to brands and all that. That's how to understand the consumption, the kind of product the students consume. That's what big data is. It's all available. The phones you're using, the internet you're using, you can collect. I was here in Owerri. I was able to do a very serious simulation study in Lagos State. I didn't go there. I had to go online to get big data for the analysis. So it does predictive analytics. That is demand forecasting. You use machine learning algorithm to analyze historical data. That's, I think, the Honorable SSA to the Governor on Transport will give us some information about historical. That's when you get your historical data, you'll be able to predict what the future outlook will be like. And then you also get some ideas on operational insight. How is the performance? How are we faring on a monthly basis, weekly basis, and all that? So that was next slide. Digital signage, the routes, the time of arrival of the buses, especially the E3 buses, expected time of departure, and all that, So, just like we see the airport across the world, that's why if you're used to international trip, you can't be lost if you are used to this technology. So, displays at bus stops, stations provide real-time updates on arrival times, service. Most times you hear service cancel, something has happened. And then other relevant information. Also, for the passengers, they should also have some mobile applications where, just like I talked about, doing some mobile ticketing and all that. So, applications about delays or changes in service. Next is, a technology that is not quite familiar to us. I think the Honorable Commissioner would have understood that better because it's already working in the UK and other parts of the world, where we have autonomous or connected vehicles equipped with sensors, cameras, AI, and can navigate. And then we're trying to drive out, and then we discovered the gate was locked because the gate was locked. It's very common in most of these formatting cars. That's the kind of autonomy we're talking about. But this time, with each other, with the infrastructure, enhancing coordination and reducing the likelihood of what? Accidents. So that technology is fully functional. The next slide is, this is what the commissioner does. Possibility of the railways also passing through the bus terminal. So with this app or platform, Mobility as a Service, you have unified platform for trip booking across the various modes and also payment. So integration of buses, ride-hailing, bike-sharing, and rail, and others. Especially when you have maritime services, you can also go ahead to integrate it. So it works with a personalized routing using AI algorithms. Examples we already used to, very common. I don't know whether it's operational in ABIA state. I've been trying to, this is my state, I'm from ABIA. I've been trying to use both over now. Is it working? Yes, principles I've proposed. If you are trying to shape digital transformation process in urban transport, you must consider these 4 principles. The user who is using the service, you must provide a real product and services that meets the needs of the user and the interest. And then secondly, you must be conscious of the specialized channels you are adopting. Use appropriate channels based on user's purpose and the use of each channel. And then, very important, you must customize information. That's why these days the building apps that has to do with the environment and even some of the languages we're used to. So, and then the 4th one is the optimization of the web space. Focus on providing a practical and user-friendly. This has to do with the designers, whether they are using technology, Java or all that technology. So one has to be. So new technologies and digitization have affected all sectors, and that's why we're bringing it home to transport. And the case of urban transport we're discussing here is no exception. So I have to propose, in as much as the commissioner has already given us so much about what they are doing to manage the NENA OT Central Bus Terminal, but it's important as you receive this paper from your various states, you should be able to have the prospect, that is needed. So I was able to take a look at some of the vital areas we must look at. Sorry, I think the picture, the distance is not clear there. So there is need for PPP. Just like the commissioner has mentioned, the government has no business to be in business. They can, as the state is procuring buses, I think at the time we encourage them to stop. Let the private sectors get to buy these buses. People, it will get to a time where some of us here will be owning charging stations. So vehicle driving to charge and they pay. So it has to work with a PPP arrangement. So that will increase rapid urbanization, close up the infrastructural gap, enhance operational efficiency. Then also this, since a lot of people are coming into the business, then it also will enhance fiscal sustainability. And then in a whole, it will encourage economic transformation. So please, when you get this paper, you can read that. It will be clearer for you. So, on this note, I think I've done justice to my paper. So I wish to thank you for this.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Process in urban transport system, giving us all details of all the examples. You went further to equally linking it to how PPP can be used to empower the people through digitalization and equally ensure sustainability. In a very great way, thank you again, sir. On behalf of the President of CIOTA, this summit, the souvenir is proudly presented by the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria to Professor Ejem E. Ejem, Federal University of Technology, Owerri, in appreciation of your participation as guest speaker at the Southeast Regional Transport Conference in ABIA State. Thank you, sir.
We have a Senior Special Assistant on Transportation to the Governor of ABIA State, Associate Professor CTN Ruben Wowe Obioma, a Fellow of the Institute, coming up to handle that class. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a round of applause.
But all protocol duly observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. Yeah. You know, we are trying to harness the experience that we've had in ABIA based on the AV green shuttle buses. You know, His Excellency, the next slide, His Excellency came on board 2023 May, shows everything he wants to work or he wants to build for the state, and he set up a team. Commissioner once said it's called ABIA State Government Transport Team or Group. The state went round to study within the state, all parts of the state, trying to fish out where we can map out for terminals and then come out with an idea or strategies. And the major area, if you try to look at ABIA State, the major area we have that is a hub or transport hub or commercial hub is Aba, whereby Omaya acts as the administrative capital. But there is also, before we came in, we have existing traffic. Like if you look at this, the picture beside you see, that was how the operation is. More of paratransit transport, which is tricycle, minibus, and all the rest of them. But it causes problems. And what are the problems are congestion, poor service delivery, and inefficiency in the area of transport system. Reformed, bringing his initiative with the team which he has set up. The chairman of that team is the principal secretary and the strategy officer, Mr. Chinayem Buzuku. So we work with the dead former commissioner of transport. May his soul rest in peace. Can we just give him 1 minute silent? Comrade Sonny Onyema, he was the former commissioner for transport. So we started the journey, and we were thinking of going for a CNG or electric buses. But after the whole thing, we come out with using electric buses. And then what are we going to do? We need to carry out a pilot survey. And the pilot survey is to deploy the first 20, like they said yesterday. Lagos started with 1 for the past 2 years, but we started with 20. And then you cannot achieve it without having private sector working together. So His Excellency said there is need to bring in private sector. The goal of having this is for us to have a sustainable, efficient, and affordable mobility. And then we said we cannot only have this. We still need to have what we call ABIA State Transport Authority, which we are already on it. We've interviewed some people. We are going to set up an ABIA State Transport Authority, just like Lamata. Our own will coordinate both urban transport, rail transport, maritime transport, and air transport. That authority helps to formulate policies and then try to drive it to get donors from the outside country, because the outside country cannot, those foreign donors cannot give you if you don't have a transport authority. So, but there are problems. Lack of structural transport system, which I've shown you before. Poor infrastructure and route planning, that is the road. Some of the road was like this. High transport costs. absence of reliable data for planning because there is no data. In the public transport system, you can't keep record. Then environmental concern of fossil fuel, just this is the example. So now we said there is need to have objective. We've seen those problems. And most of our objective is what? One, to evaluate, share operational performance of the EV buses system, identify the high demand routes, analyze the major things are passenger throughput, determine bus deployment impact, determine number of carry card distributed to the passenger. And we looked at those things as we were carrying out those surveys. We worked with a private sector, Coast Mobility. We conducted a survey in all the routes, in our routes, the traffic count, check the routes that are okay based on the analysis. Did send in Umaya, also went to Hafia, conducted survey fully of 2 weeks. And the major way that we must carry out, when I mentioned about carry card, is for payment. We are talking about what? Smart, and he said about digitization. The final insight is that the drop in ridership is not a failure, because there was a drop in ridership, but a natural correction towards a sustainable and efficient urban transport ecosystem. Next slide. Recommendation. Increase in bus on top 3 performing routes. That's what we are advising. Introduce dynamic pricing or peak fare pricing. Expand carry cards adoption point. We have already issued about 53 as of the dates. Last week we had about 53,633 carry cards we've issued out free to citizens of ABIA. And the carry card, even if you're not from ABIA, you're living in ABIA, and you're paying tax, you can have an abstain. You will be able to get the carry card, and it's free. Yeah. Then optimize low performing routes with smaller buses, reduced frequency, then use data analytic for real-time fleet allocation. And another thing I think we really need to do, which I didn't mention, but from our experience and my supervision, we are working towards, after having the next set of vehicles, because 20 is coming by July, then August, September, we're having another 30 coming in. We are targeting 100 by December. So we are planning, preparing or mapping of bus lane, not using barricade or beams, just like the way they did in Lagos. We want to use mapping of yellow lines, and then call those ones yellow lines for the EV buses in some of the routes, like ABIA Boulevard, Totowa, Inomaya, or Tonimo. That is the most expanded roads within Omaya that can take such operation. And then for Aba, Park to Osisioma can take EV bus lane. Then Port Road can take EV buses lane, and we can, if we harmonize with the Ministry of Works, then we take Osisioma to Alochi, whereby they can give us a lane, we map, and it will be strictly for EV buses, whereby we can use Abia State Traffic Management Agency to track, just like the last man, to make sure people are making use of those buses. So we are advising and we are writing a report for the government to look into it and see what they can do. Before that time, we prepare for such operation, and it's going to make it to be more efficient, and we can keep our frequency that each bus can stop at a bus stop. The maximum standard of the world is 5 minutes maximum, but minimum of 2 minutes. So each of the buses can stay 2 minutes, they take off. So they will be maintaining a frequency, and from there we can know our headway and also the load factor of each of those vehicles. But meanwhile, we also have a frequency we are running, but the frequency we are not meeting up due to the buses are few. But when we have more buses by July, our frequencies are going to be maintained, and the operation is going to be a smooth operation that will run perfectly. Next slide. Through his administration, transformative initiative such as the Nenoti bus terminal and the introduction of a modern electric shuttle buses has significantly improved transportation, enhanced environmental sustainability, and elevated the quality of life for ABIA citizens. I also wish to sincerely appreciate the ABIA State Government Transport Team for their dedication, strategic planning, and commitment to delivering this innovative transport system. Their efforts have been instrumental in ensuring the successful implementation and operation of this initiative. Now, before you clap, 6 is Naba for now, because ABA terminal is ongoing. Then the other ones are to be installed in the terminal. So we're going to install 2 in Ohafia, total of 9 in Omaya, then 11 in Aba. Then these other ones that are already here are for temporary. That's for other people. They may use EV cars, or as the case may be. And then in the terminal, like Honorable Commissioner told you, that we are installing a solar grid by Costec, as Cocharis technology. The grid will serve as the constant energy supply to the terminal, whereby the generator and the national grid will be a spare, a kind of standby for operation. The essence of that is to make sure that we are fully on green. We are not using any energy apart from solar and green energy. So with this, we are working to make sure that the state is going to be a green state in terms of transport operation. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Doc.
Of Transport Administration of Nigeria, I hereby present this souvenir to you, Dr. Obimaru Ngogbe, in appreciation of your participation as a guest speaker at the Southeast Zonal Transportation Conference ABIA 2026, and to spur you to continue doing this good work in service to humanity. Thank you very much.
They will handle the questions, and I am sure quite a number, or 1 or 2 people might have questions from the floor.
Let's have it here. I hope we have a statement, by the people who are here. Time will just be our limitation. If not, they are ready to take us to wherever we are. So we heard yesterday when Prof talked about green energy transition for road and rail transport, electric mobility, CNG adaptation, and low carbon multimodal system. I think that is still fresh in our mind. This morning, the Honorable Commissioner also brought to bear for us developing integrated transport hubs for economic growth, lessons for the Southeast Nigeria. And we also heard from the Associate Professor again, who is the very last presenter, and before that was digitizing urban transport operations for efficiency, data management.
I'm the director of Chisco Institute of Logistics and Supply Chain Management.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Okay, I want to first applaud all facilitators, starting from yesterday's program. You know, this program is taking two dimensions. It's looking academic. We're having it the Honorable Commissioner down to the professors that have done their work. The truth is that where we are headed now is the in thing. And then one of the things we must discover here is one of the benefits is the decarbonization of our environment. Because now we are taking an alternative from the conventional fossil fuel to now we are going green.
Yeah.
Now, there are some other things I looked at in the work, in the lectures I want us to look at. Now, number one, I want to ask this question before I make some other comments. Now, number one, when I arrived at ABIA, I went there to look at the EV buses.
Okay.
And then I asked few questions. And I know that these EV buses, they are running on charge stations that are there. So I asked them, what is the timeline for each EV bus to be filled up before it can go? Now, and the answers was not so straight, obviously.
Ask it here.
Yeah, that's what I'm throwing now.
Please throw it.
That's what I'm asking now.
1 more minute, sir. So it's not another lecture. 1 more minute.
No, I have a lot of questions because yes, because this project is a technical project.
It is.
It's an in thing that is happening right now. So number one, how long does it take to get each EV buses charged? Yep. Number two, no. With respect to time, is it possible for us to have use a bus model that is battery as a service model where you run swap stations? So instead of having the conventional charge platforms, people can get to any of the charge stations and then swap their batteries and then continue their journey. Now, another thing is this, is that the EV buses right now, with respect to the lectures, they are running on specified areas, which means that the EV buses has been parametrically analyzed with respect to the battery capacity, that it can get to a particular point before it returns back. Now, I'm saying, what if there's a need for the bus to go beyond the specified positions? Now, number four, I also want to ask, with respect to load, because the extent to which these EV buses will cover is dependent on the carrying capacity, which means I believe that before it started running, this research must have been done. Now, in a situation whereby somebody enters the vehicle with a load that is more than the subscribed platform, is it possible for us? Because that's why now what happens, I really want to know whether they have done this or whether it has been tested before now. Thank you so much.
Charging time, right? For instance, the tree here is 60 kilowatts. That was the first one that we used before the coast take 20 supply, gets to the state. That one is the one that takes plus or minus 1 hour, 30 minutes.
For a full charge.
For a full charge. But the one that Costech brought and the other technology we brought, which is 160 kilowatts and 140 kilowatts, takes you 45 minutes. And how we operate? In the evening, once they retire, they are standby personnel that charge, get it to full of 100%. Sometimes you don't get it to full 100%, make it 95 because of the battery, to sustain the battery, make it last long. Because if the battery is managed very well the way we have been advised, it can last up to 8 to 10 years before you replace the battery.
Yeah.
So that one for 160 kilowatts takes about 45 minutes. And you know, we don't let it get down to 20%. It's 30% minimal will recharge to save the lifespan of the battery. So that one takes 45, while the one for 140 kilowatts takes about 50 to 60 minutes. So when you charge in the evening, the vehicle goes to work. In the morning, can run like up to 5 or 4 trips.
To where, sir?
For instance, ABIA trip runs 2-3 trips.
Yeah.
It will get down to maybe 50%. We don't go, we top up to 80% or so. Our average takes going and coming plus or minus 20, 21, depending on the hold up.
Okay.
And you know, it's using the AC as well.
Yep.
So 20 or 21%. So if you have 100%, it takes you, when I mean full round trip, just 2 round trips, that is okay. 4 times.
4 times, yeah.
So you go for charging at 50%. Then after that, within that time, there's other ones that will be at the station to take passengers. So that's how it works. Just like the same way you buy your fuel, it's still the same way we operate. And that's why we prepare a schedule and make sure that every vehicle there must be kind of spare to take care of the other one so that our passengers will not have challenges. Then the other question is about, remind me?
Battery.
Swapping. Now, for instance, when the Chinese came in for software first before manufacturing, I raised the issue of the battery for jump starting in case we have challenge on the route. You see, the vehicle, you see, all the whole floor down is full of batteries. It's all battery. So they agreed, because it's for intra. That is why when Commissioner told you that we cannot go to Lagos because we know our capacity. And you cannot say you're a transporter. If you're a good transporter, you don't have enough fuel and you're traveling from here to Lagos or to Benin, and you know you don't have enough fuel, it will only take you to Benin and then come back, and you don't have enough resources, you now try to plan to travel to Lagos. That means you're not a good transporter. Yeah. You must plan your journey. Yeah. Journey time is very important. You must calculate your journey time, and then with your energy, you now calculate, like, let me give an instance. There's a day you had some much passengers. It has not happened like that before in the terminal. So what we checked, we now try to swap routes, and then we check. If your battery is 40%, 42%, I'll pull it from that route and send you to ABIA, because I know once you get to ABIA, it will be 25, okay. Then you can charge. And within that time, I know that if you're getting to the town, it will affect the battery, because I don't want it to go below 20. Then I will arrange for another bus in Aba. There will be a transshipment point at our stop at the station. Then you transship and then the vehicle go for charging. So that's how we operate. You know, if you have your system, you must work. Tell us we run a pilot, and then we are still strategizing, re-strategizing to make sure that we achieve what we want to achieve.
My name is Idozimo Chibuzo Christian. I'm from Anambra State. I'm a student of Futo. Yeah. I want to ask this question, sorry.
Okay.
I want to ask if being a member of CIOTA can help one get through when they stop on the road, like a police officer.
I'm the registrar and secretary council. My question goes to the SA Transport.
I think you're answering the first one before you ask your own.
No, the panelists will respond.
All right.
Can I answer? This by law of Federal Republic of Nigeria. That implies that everything that we do in CIOTA is backed by law. Among our activities is training and education sector. In that training and education sector, we have institutes, schools, centers that were approved to run our programs. This question is to you. What efforts ABIA state government is doing to ensure that the certificates awarded by CIOTA are being used for promotions and education in the service, particularly to higher level? Thank you.
They are indispensable.
I believe that he had this word given out yesterday. That's what prompted his question this afternoon. Can your YS certificates give you a passage on the highway?
Mama is an African.
No. So the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration, they are a regulatory body. They are also a training body that certify you as a transportant and enable you to do activities in the transport sector. But for you to have a good passage on the road, the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration have alignments and a synergy activity with the Federal Road Safety Corps. If you are a transporter, you must have your driving license. That's what Nigeria gives you as a road passers certificate. Thank you.
Certification, please.
Registrar.
As we speak,
can you raise this dust though?
As we speak, in the Federal University of Technology, where I work, we have 3 very important departments that is connected to CIOTA. My department, the department I pioneered, I'm privileged to be the first HOD of an undergraduate program of logistics and supply chain in Nigeria.
Okay.
I pioneered that program for 5 years. We have graduated students already.
Yes, sir.
So the second set is about to graduate. And then we have a department of logistics and transport technology. And then we have a department of maritime science and technology. So these are very critical departments. I've actually informed CIOTA. We have to, it's not just about writing letters. We should pay a visit to the Vice Chancellor.
Physically.
And then each of these programs have very, even in supply chain, we have very transport courses. We should have a meeting with the Vice Chancellor, you know, stating it clearly as a certifying professional body in these areas.
Yes.
And then CIOTA will come to Futo to accredit these programs. Without accreditation, then people wouldn't really take us very serious. So that's very key.
Concerning certification from CIOTA. So presently, we are having problem with the State Ministry of Transport. Most of the CIOTAs who must have gotten the HND, HAD, took the exams and everything. But unfortunately, that certificate is having a bottleneck for them to get their promotions. But I'm happy that the State Governor is hearing this. I play after this session, he may take this up so that those students and those staffs will have their way. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, organizers. Good afternoon, participants. My name is Chris Awara. I'm of the Nigerian Institute of Management Chartered at the state, and by the grace of God, the state chairman. I very much like to participate in this program. Because of my busy schedule, I was a little bit late yesterday and today because we are organizing Women in Management Program, 30 Zonal Conference, and
follow me.
and national conference, all holding in Lagos. So I've been having busy schedules this week, and I'm sorry to be a little bit late.
Sir, fire on your question.
So my question now is on risk management. People say no risk, no survival, and I'm happy I have managed to participate a little bit, because it's better to be late than never. The little I listened yesterday and today from the PPP, as mentioned, I did not see anything like insurance scheme. And transportation is full of risk. So my question is, given the state of insecurity in Nigeria and the nature of operating transport scheme, to what extent has IOTA and the state government gone in making sure that there is insurance protection both to the patronizers, the operators, and even for the state government? Even when they have and there was an authority, there should be a unit, insurance unit or department in the authority to ensure that actually they will bless the insurance scheme. Thank you.
The purpose of training is to improve efficiency and minimize risk. Beyond that, CIOTA get involved in advocacy. We let people know the risk involved. We are not going. We don't implement. We don't implement. We advocate. But any person in transport knows. You are saying make it compulsory. You cannot operate your vehicle without insurance certificate. That test is compulsory. If you do it, you run foul of the law. You cannot fly an aircraft without license and registration. You cannot drive without your driving certificate. And the next thing they ask you, your insurance cover. You must get it. Even goods on transit, you can't put your vehicle on road without insurance. That means that risk is taken care of, because there is no way you can operate transport without accommodating risk.
And I solemnly swear as follows. All right, be looking at your paper so that I will take 1, 2, 3 to the end. To observe and to adhere strictly to the code of ethics and core value of the Institute. Say after me.
To observe to the code of the ethics and the core values of the Institute.
To remain loyal to the authority of the impartial.
Being honest and impartial.
And serving with fidelity the public.
And serving with fidelity the public.
Their employers and clients. And avoid. Should I violate its code of ethics and core values?
Should I violate its code of ethics and other values?
I also understand that I will subject myself to the Institute for its attain high heights.
That I will subject myself to the Institute for it to attain higher heights.
I therefore pray for the power.
I therefore pray for the power,
the zeal, and wisdom
to
enable me adhere to this oath of membership.
To enable me adhere to this oath of membership.
So help me God.
So help me God.
By taking this oath, I hereby congratulate you all as members of this prestigious Institute of Transport, Chartered Transport Administration of Nigeria. God bless you. Congrats, and from this day we look up to you as professionals. Like somebody said, now you're a transport professional. your vehicle insurance must be good. So you don't see road safety and you want to drive and take another road. Those primary things, you are now an ambassador to make sure the road is safe. So you are the first to renew licenses because that's the primary thing to do since you have joined this other side of the association. Congratulations. You are going to sign that document and return it back to the registrar. Then you will get, okay, the certificate will. So just keep your document for now because of time, but make sure you don't go home with it. Either the registrar or our staff here will have this document. Hereby accept to be, say your category, of the Chartered Institute of Transport Administration of Nigeria. With effect from today, and I solemnly swear as follows. To observe and to adhere strictly to the code of ethics and core value of the Institute. To remain loyal to the authority of the Institute. To pay promptly that is likely to tarnish the image of the Institute. To pay the annual subscription at and when due. I understand that the Institute reserves the right to take appropriate disciplinary action in line with the constitutional requirement.
By our next outing in the Southeast Zone, the Anambra State yesterday prayed that the Zonal conference will be carried to Anambra. And I want to urge the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport, to do the groundwork and ensure that by next year there will be a bigger conference still in the Southeast. I want to thank every one of us, all the paper presenters and the team that have presented the communique to us this afternoon. I want to thank all of you, our sponsors, the Project Planet, the Marshall Nigeria Limited, and the Mary Aviation Communication Industry, and many others, especially our union chairman in the state, who has encouraged their members to attend this conference. I want to thank every one of you on behalf of ABIA state government for finding it comfort to be here with these 3 days. And let me show you and show you again that ABIA is quite hospitable. ABIA is safe for you to attend for any conference. ABIA have an open door policy because our governor has made the environment acceptable and accommodating for everyone. On that note, I want to call this meeting to a close and pray that as we return back to our different states and to other stations in Nigeria, that God will grant us journey mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.